All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back to another hashtag CB99 Talks, episode 211. Back again, y'all. Pretty good weekend of fights. I just wanted to go ahead and jump on now because I might be busy this week. And yeah, I wanted to go ahead and, just jump on and talk about some of these fights this weekend, man. Dang, there was some other fights on UFC Fight Pass I have to go back and watch too, man. There was a lot of different cards going on. I think Octagon, Cage Warriors, a lot of that stuff I got to go back and check out. But man, crazy stuff in bare knuckle boxing. But overall, the WMMA fights, they turned out to be pretty good. They turned out to be pretty solid on the card. I know I wasn't really anticipating these. And usually when I don't hold these fights to high expectations, they turn out to be better. They usually turn out to be better. So yeah, I want to talk about this Brogan Sanchez and Veronica Hardy fight. And of course, this bare knuckle boxing fight. Man, this thing was violent. Got to talk about that and a little bit about Macy and Yana again. But yeah, we got to talk about Valentina and Wei Lee a little too, man. It just seems like not too many MMA outlets have been talking about Valentina Shevchenko and Zhang Wei Lee. I know the fight's like a month away, but you would think a lot more people would be hyped about it. You'd think a lot more people would be, trying to break this thing down or talking about it. But maybe by the end of October, people will start realizing that this fight is right around the corner. Because, I mean, this time be flying by. I mean, this was what, UFC 320, right? UFC 320, and now we got 321 coming up. So, yeah, we are not too far away. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to pull something up here. Because I'm just checking some dates. Yeah, we got 321 Verna and McKenzie fight, this month. That's how fast that time be flying, man. Like Verna and McKenzie fight this month. And then you got Whaley and Valentina fight next month now. So, yeah, just don't hear a lot of people talking about it like that, though, man. I mean, it's one of the biggest WMMA fights we can make. Everybody wanted to see it. Everybody wanted to see that over Natalia Silva taking on Valentina. So, hey, I want to hear some people, breaking this thing down. All right. But yeah, man, this weekend was pretty good. Pretty good card. The UFC 320 card was solid. There was some pretty good finishes up there. I know the one fight between, what is his name? Oh, man, was on the early prelims. I had posted that earlier. I was like, oh, man, this dude here, when showboating goes wrong, man. What is his name? Hold on, let me pull it because he was on the. Just a second, I'm trying to find it here. Was it the main card? It could have been the main card. Where is he, man? Hold on. Ah, there it is. Yeah, Daniel Santos. Zhang, man. That junk was crazy, man. I mean, he kept dropping his hands. I knew something crazy like that was going to happen. I thought he was going to get knocked out in the first round, but boom, he got knocked out in the second. Either way, I was like, can't keep dropping your hands against a dog like that, man. And then Patchy Mix, he dropped a fight, another fight. I know some people were arguing they thought he won, but in my opinion, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, it wasn't like he was doing a great deal, so I can't say. What else was going on the card? There's a pretty good fights on the prelims in the early prelims. But man, this bare knuckle boxing business is crazy. I mean, Christina Ferea and Jessica Borg, they talked this thing up big time. They really talked this fight up, and it paid off. It paid off. Christina Ferea really had an opponent to bring out the best in her. I know that last performance she had against, I think it was Jade. I can't remember that girl's name. I'm going to have to look it up real quick. The girl's name was Jade. I expected that fight to be like a fight like this, but it actually kind of turned out to be a little bit more boring. And she apologized for that one. And that's what kind of brought this beef on between the two. Christina Ferea, Jessica Borg kind of got into it about who was the queen of violence and all of that. And they kept talking trash. And I think Jessica Borg was talking about her last performance against, Jade. But it really opened up to just opened up to them calling each other out, and boom, the fight was made. And here we are talking about the fight now, Yeah, that last fight against Jade Wong, it was like a split decision. But then Christina Ferrer bounced back with another win, another finish. But yeah, I know that fight there wasn't like her best performance, which was like a year ago. But this one here really brought out the best in Christina Ferrer. I mean, Jessica Borg, they were going at it. They were trading. They both knocked each other down. I believe it was in the first round. But overall, Christina Ferrer, man, she just has the skill set. She has the skill set, the durability, and just that educated right hand that she be throwing behind those flurries, and just that dog in her, man. So when I just saw like them going at it, I was like, somebody's gonna get knocked out here. Somebody's about to get knocked out. And in that fourth round, it was a crazy pivot by Borg. Whenever she just kind of stepped to her left, she tried to step out of the way of that right hand, and boom, you could just hear like that crunch, man, whenever that right hand came flying by from Christina Ferrer, and it just caught her right on the nose. I mean, if y'all go back and look at like the instant replay, if you just go back and look at that slow motion, you see Borg's nose just like get crushed. It's like cracked to the side, and it just bends to the right. It just bends all the way to the right, and she goes down. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. Like, I can see that putting anybody down, because the way Christina Ferrer throws these punches, man, like, I mean, she's surgical with it. She's surgical with these shots. So, I mean, these jabs that she was throwing out, these stiff left hands and these right hands that she was throwing out all night. I mean, Christina Ferrer, she's built for this sport. Not saying Jessica Borg's not, because this is pretty much her, this is her strength too. She came from MMA, but she seems to thrive here as well. But this is Christine Ferrer's backyard, man. She's built for this. They both came from MMA, but Christine Ferrer, this is where I see her just kind of finishing out, her days in combat sports. I know she called out Chris Cyborg a little while back. I mean, I think that would be like the biggest fight you could make in women's bare knuckle boxing. But yeah, shout out to Christine Ferrer. She's still doing it. Shout out to Borg. These women, they be putting on shows. And every time, you put these two in there, it's probably going to end in a finish, man. But that's what I'm saying too, man. To be a bare knuckle boxer, it's not the same as a regular boxer, professional boxer. Like Molly McCann, she went to pro boxing. That's more her thing. She's a little bit more cleaner as far as how she moves. And Molly McCann showed a good chin in the past. She's shown that chin in the past that she could fight and, hold her own. But you got to really get down dirty and gritty. But I think Christina Ferrer is kind of built more for throwing shots like this. Even when she gets in there, like when she eats one, she's ready to give two back. Same thing with Borg. These girls are kind of built for that. Like, there's some girls in MMA, I can see them going to professional boxing, but I just can't see them going to bare knuckle boxing. I can see a lot of girls going to bare knuckle boxing right now and folding. But there are some I could see. I might have to do a video on that. Tay, what's up? Tay, the queen of violence. She said her girl, Christine Ferrer. Yeah, this fight, it paid off. This fight paid off, man, big time. I was like, yeah, like, this is what they both needed. I mean, the trash talk, everything that was said, the promotion, it all paid off. It didn't just turn into a sleep fest. You know what I mean? It didn't turn into no sleep fest. They weren't scared to throw down. I mean, Borg, I always thought of her as being a little too big for Ferrer, but I was like, man, I think Ferrer's gonna chop her down. Like, my pick in this one was Christine Ferrer all the way, and I knew she was going to get it and just kind of chop her down. But man, the fashion that knockout came in, I mean, that nose. I don't know, Tete, did you go back and look at that replay? I'm gonna have to post that picture of the nose. I think I posted it. If you can see it cleanly, but I'm gonna post a close-up of it. You know how I do. I gotta show you that nose. I gotta show you how that nose just like bent out of shape. Let me see if I got it. Now that shot don't show the full. That thing don't show the full impact of the punch and what it did to her nose. He said, much respect to Jessica. She went down to 135. Yeah, respect to her for that. Yeah. Because, she's kind of naturally a bigger woman, too, because in Bellator, she was fighting at 45. Yeah, she was a featherweight. So, she dropped down to fight Christine Ferea. So, hey, I give her a lot of respect for that. I mean, 2 knockdowns in the first round, right? And then just coming back to put on a show. And then finally that ending punch, though, man. So, yeah, I got to give both of these ladies credit, man. I got to go back and watch this thing, man. They need to put this thing up on YouTube right away. Go ahead, put this on replay. We need a rematch too, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes if they do a rematch. We'll see if Ferea gets her Chris Cyborg fight. But she's claimed this. She's claimed this title. She's claimed this title, and I think she's going to hold it for a while. I really don't see anybody taking the title from her from bare knuckle boxing. She's had the fights with Beck Rollins. That girl Jade couldn't do it. None of these girls, I don't think they can take that title from her. I'm trying to think anybody from the UFC, like if they wanted to, if anybody gets cut from the UFC, could they come over there and take it? Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Yeah, TJ said because she's been in the game for 11 years and she's proven to be the GOAT. Yeah. I mean, yeah, she, in the past she's taken her crack at MMA, but it wasn't her thing. But that's how it goes. Some of these girls aren't built for mixed martial arts. Like Beck Rollins wasn't. I'm going to be real. Like Beck Rollins, she had hands. Like I used to always see her throwing hands in boxing more. So I was like, when is she going to boxing? Because MMA wasn't her thing. But when she went to bare knuckle boxing, these girls, they tend to love it, man. They love that violence. So I'm like, hey, more power to them, But not everybody in MMA is built like that. Not everybody that comes from MMA is built like that. You got to have that durability, man. You got to have that durability. You got to have that dog in you. But yeah, I think that Christine Ferea, ain't nobody taking that title from her for a while. For a while, though. And I don't see too many girls beating Jessica Borg, though. I don't see too many girls, hanging in there with Jessica Borg. She's got power. After watching that Hannah Rankin fight leading up to this one again, I was like, man, to be able to stand up to Borg or vice versa is crazy. Yeah, even though Beck lost to Christine Ferea twice, she gave Christine Ferea a tough fight. She did. Yeah, she gave her a tough fight. She did. I went back and looked at that on Amazon Prime because they be playing them things over and over. So I just be binge watching bare knuckle boxing. But yeah, that was a crazy one. But shoot, that might go down as fight of the year for me. Like one of the fights of the year for women, mixed martial arts. Period. I mean, it ain't MMA, but still. But let's talk about this one, Tay. We got Veronica Hardy and Brogan Sanchez. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was surprised Brogan was still in the UFC. I am not gonna lie. I did not know that Brogan was still in the UFC. I thought after that Lucindo fight, they had let her go. But here she is. She's still here. And this was her third loss in a row now. Brogan, man, like I've seen her fighting in Invicta FC. And I've always saw just kind of like just average skills there. Like she was still learning, but when she went into the Tough House, I just seen like the same thing. And I never really saw any like development in her. So when I knew that she was signed to the UFC to even take on somebody like Yasmin Lucindo, I was like, okay, even if she gets by Lucindo and she's in this flyweight division, she's going to be food for a lot of these girls because the flyweight division, this ain't a division to play with right now. This ain't a division to play with. You got to be ready in there. And Brogan, to me, just lacks a lot of skills. Like right off top in this fight, I really was waiting for that big head kick from Veronica Hardy to put her out, or just like one of them big right hands that she was throwing to just really like stop her. I think Veronica Hardy was kind of holding back myself. Like, I don't know why, but there was a lot of opportunities for a knockout in this fight. You know me. You know me. Look, I'm a tough critic sometimes. I'm just saying, like, the way she landed this right hand right here on Sanchez, I was like, okay, if she puts together another combination or sets up a head kick, she can get her out of there. Because the way Brogan keeps her hands, like elbows out, hands wide, just open guard. You know, she's eating these big shots one after the other. You know, so I was just waiting. I was like, okay, where's the knockout at? Where is it gonna come? You know, what's going on? But I kind of think maybe Veronica Hardy was just getting some rounds in. I don't know. You know, she was just kind of, you know, picking her battles here. But a couple of times when the fight went down to the ground, I was like, all right, this ain't really where you need to be. You know, just keep it standing until you can finish this girl. But still, man, like with what Brogan was able to get done as far as, you know, getting the fight to the ground and get a couple of easy takedowns, there was no like follow up. You know, the jiu-jitsu really wasn't there. You know, the submission attempts really weren't like locked in or anything to give Veronica Hardy and her team a scare. So I didn't really see anything there that could make me say, okay, if she does this, okay, I could see her developing. Yeah, maybe she needs to go back to Invicta FC. I don't know. Like maybe she needs to go back there or go to LFA or something like that, because I think that's the only place, you know, I could see her getting some victories, if that. But even then, when she was in Invicta FC, let me see her resume. She lost to Aaron and she lost to Pearl Gonzalez. See that, Tay? She lost to Pearl Gonzalez and Aaron in Invicta FC. Surprisingly, she got a win over Miranda. I mean, that was like 7 years ago, though. Miranda was still young, but she had a decent. I mean, she had. Well, I'd say yeah, she had a decent run, 3-2 in Invicta FC. But when she took on Juju, she really did struggle in that fight. She struggled in that fight. And Juju was like brand new. She had more experience than Juju, but that's what I'm saying. When she went into that fight, it was almost like, oh, I don't see any growth, you know? Veronica Hardy, though, man, like I think she's one of the better strikers at flyweight. I would just like to see her mix it up a little bit more. You know, like try to set up these finishes more. Like I think she has a really good right hand and just good high kick and teep kick, stomach kick, you know, body kicks and all of that. But as far as like setting up knockouts, kind of like how Valentina does, you know, Valentina sees the open and she'll get it or just pick somebody strictly apart and stick to it. I see Veronica kind of letting a lot of those opportunities slip through the crack. That's where they kind of differ. Like, I think Veronica Hardy is one of the better strikers at flyweight, but it's those moments where she's not setting up a good game plan to get somebody out of there, just completely dominate. Like, she won every round this fight. You know, she won every round this fight, but still like getting taken down by Brogan when it shouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? Like if it shouldn't have happened, it could have been prevented. It makes you still say, okay, this is what she needs to do. So yeah, and when you look at some of these other strikers too, like when I look at Carly Giudice, I think Carly Giudice probably would have knocked Brogan out, honestly. Or even like Wayne Kong, I think they would have got her out of there. Even like Gabriela Fernandez, I think they probably would have went in for the kill. But I just think that, you know, with Veronica Hardy having just like a whole variety of strikes and the speed advantage here, you know, we should have seen her go in there and just take this girl out at some point and not draw the fight out. But we'll see. We'll see if Veronica improves in that department. I want to see her get I really wanted to see her fight a ranked opponent. I wanted to see her and JJ Aldridge go. You know, I wanted to see them two go at it. I wanted to see how that fight would be. Because I think that, just like Dan Hardy says, I think that, you know, Veronica has that ability to grow as a fighter, man. I mean, she's only like 29. Like, I don't even think she's really like fully hit her prime yet. I don't think she's hit her prime yet, though. You know, I still think that there's some things that she could learn and eventually get into the top 15. Like, I don't know about the top 10 yet, but I think there's some girls that Veronica Hardy could beat in the top 15, like 11 through 15. Like, JJ Aldridge would be a kind of a tough style matchup. But I could see her beating somebody like Casey O'Neill. I know she lost to Eduardo Mora, but I could see her winning a fight like with Casey O'Neill if she makes the right choices and, she makes the right adjustments and, keeps the fight standing and doesn't engage too much into the clinch. Wang Kong would be a tough fight though. So, but there are some tough fights there for her. She's going to really have to apply herself and like really work on her takedown defense. And again, like overall strike selection, to get girls out of there and get their, get their respect. So, yeah. But Brogan, though, on the other hand, man, I think Brogan, man, she might be out of there now because that's 3 losses in a row and doesn't really look like a threat to any of the flyweights right now. So I think she might have to go back to Invicta FC, in my opinion. That's just how I see that. But yeah, this fight here, man, Yana Santos and Macy Chiasson. Yana, she's been developing though, man. Like she really has been improving. That's why I had to go with her. I pretty much went 0-3 in my picks, from bare knuckle to the UFC. I picked Christine Ferea. Let's see, I picked Christine Ferea. I picked Veronica Hardy, and I picked Yana Santos in this one. I had to pick Yana in this one, man, because I just thought Yana was much more focused. She just seems a lot more like she's on a mission now, right? She just seems like she's on this mission now to get to a position to challenge for the belt. Like before, I kind of thought she was just fighting like a journeywoman or just one of the other fighters that just say, oh, I'm just here to fight, or they just like to wear the UFC uniform. There are some fighters like that. They just want to wear the UFC uniform and they're happy with that, right? I think Roxy said something like that. Roxy was like, I'm not sure if I ever want to fight for the title or something like that. She didn't want to fight for the title or something to that point when she went on a win streak. So I almost kind of thought that about Yana. But Yana really has been on this mission since cracking that losing streak. I think she knew that them scissors, not the scissors, but the axe was coming. The axe was coming and she could have been put out of there. So she started getting on her grind and she started getting better, working on her wrestling. I know she used to train with Suarez a little bit, working on, her strength, just using her strength to her advantage. And after that last close fight to Carol Rosa, because she went on a 3-fight losing streak. And then she cracked it against Chelsea Chandler. And in that fight, she was showing like her stand-up gimmick or her whole stand-up game improvement. So to me, I just had to pick her because of that. I was like, I'm seeing a lot more commitment and discipline after cracking that losing streak. And now she's on a 3-fight win streak. She beat Chelsea, a veteran in Misha, and another veteran in Macy that scored a win over a top 5 fighter. So to me, that sounds like somebody that's getting ready for something bigger, Now that she beats her, that should put her into the top 5. She was number 10. That should make her number 5. And now she's in there with Norma, Ketlin, and Rocky. So I think from here, somebody like Yana, she can call for a fight with Rocky or Juliana Pena. Set her up for something closer to the title. Because let's see, if Kayla does fight Amanda. All right, if Kayla fights Amanda, whenever they announce that, I don't know, then Juliana Pena could fight Yana Santos or Rocky. I don't know what's going on with Rocky. Rocky's been out for these injuries. For this injury, I don't know how long she's going to be out for. Ketlin is fighting Norma, so that's the number 3 and 4, right? You got the number 3 and 4 fighting. So with Yana coming in at number 5, she could call for either former champion in Rocky or Juliana Pena. Honestly, I think if Norma beats Ketlin, she deserves the next title shot. But if Yana's able to scoot past her and get a win over a number 1 or number 2, shoot, that would put her in lineup too. So it It would just have to come down to heads or tails on that one, on how the UFC would see it. But no, I would rather see Norma challenge next. But Yana definitely deserves now somebody in the top 5. I mean, now's the time to call for a fight with Juliana Pena too. Now that she beat Macy Chiasson, now's the time to call for a fight like that. What's going on, Ernest? Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I thought the fights were good though. I think both fights turned out to be good. Veronica Hardy's fight, Brogan was solid, but this one turned out to be much better than I thought it was going to be, man. I thought there was going to be a lot of holding, a lot of just grappling for control time, but it turned out to be a lot more gritty and a mean fight by Yana. A mean fight by Yana Santos. Very mean, man. Yana Santos was really fighting me. I think she was really mad at Macy Chiasson. All right, give me 1 second, y'all. I want to take care of something. 1 second. All right, back. Okay, so Tay said this is an issue for Macy. She's been missing weight more than once. Yeah, and that's what's crazy, man. Like Yana Santos has fought, I think, almost like 3 or 4 opponents that miss weight. Because I know Chelsea missed weight. Now Macy misses weight. Who else missed weight when she fought? Irene Aldana. Let me click on these. Hold on real quick. Let's see. Irene Aldana. Did she miss weight in that fight? Or did Ketlin Vieira miss weight? She beat Ketlin, but did Ketlin miss weight when they fought? Hold on. Yeah. It was a 138. Yeah, it was Ketlin Vieira missed weight. Chelsea missed weight, and Macy missed weight. So, yeah. And of course, she fought Holly, but Holly's been professional. Like, Holly always makes weight. Yana always makes weight. Oh, was it? Yeah, Kel Rosa. Yeah, Kel Rosa and Yana fought at 145. So, yeah, she did. She's fought, okay, the Chelsea fight, Macy fight, Carol fight, and Ketlin fight. So those 4 fights, they all missed weight. Yo, what's going on, BJ? BJ said, yeah, Ketlin missed weight. So, yeah, Ketlin, Carol, who all did I name? It was 4, yeah. Macy, Chelsea, Carol, Ketlin. Of course, Holly always makes weight, Again, like, if I ever do like a video on the most dedicated fighters that do make weight, Holly always on point. Yana's on point now. Caleb makes weight. Caleb makes weight too, What about the Stoyarenko fight? Okay, Stoyarenko did make weight, right? All right. But no matter how far back you go, I think 2 or 3 is enough, man. Like that's been rough on her. So to me, even like what Yana was saying about, I guess Macy said something about this situation, even about her missing weight, like it was really nothing. I can't remember the exact tweet, but I thought I saved it, but I don't have it. But, Yana, she has a right to flex and say whatever she wants. Hey, if you miss weight, you give up 50% of your purse. I think when you put more of a like a tighter consequence on it, and you really lock down on the rules, it's going to force fighters to really go at it. But my thing is, man, like, how does Kayla do it? How does Kayla do it though, man? And some of these other girls can't, because you got to remember, like, every girl has different body type, right? But the thing is, some of these girls, they're not solid muscle, right? And let's be real, it's a little bit more softer. Macy's a little softer, and that's all right. I'm not putting the woman down. I'm just saying some of these girls are just softer. So, it's more like fat around the hips and stuff. So I know some of that is hard to come off, but when I see Kayla, losing and stripping muscle down, muscle is harder to lose sometimes. Muscle, it's a little bit more dangerous to lose. I mean, it did put Kayla in the ER. Not saying that it's rough. Let me just put it that way. It's rough. And I think, of course, all these fighters should know that. They should all know that. But, when I look at Kayla's body and how she gets down to it, I'm still like questioning how she does it. But she does. But it's like she said, man, it's like she said there were sacrifices that had to be made. And I think it's the sacrifices that she went on and put out there and let you know that she struggled. Not really struggled with, but she had to cut out, like sweets. Some of these fighters probably like sweets and don't say it. And then some fighters are lazy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying Macy Chiasson is like some kind of lazy couch potato or nothing, because she's working. But I'm saying, like, there's probably points where discipline is not really number one there, right? Because if it was, we wouldn't be in this situation, right? I mean, there are some times I think fighters let certain things slip through the crack. I think there are, and sometimes they do say, hey, I want to sneak and eat this or eating that. But because if you cut out certain things, I think you will drop in weight. If you cut out certain things, you will drop. It's been proven. I'm not just saying because I can't compare myself to a woman, because as a man, we can lose weight a little bit easier. But I've seen other women do it. When they go on the same type of diet, weight will drop, or even like you're walking around, weight won't be as rough. BJ said it's only been a couple of times for Kayla. Yeah, only been a couple of times, but she's got another one coming up, right? Macy's always did a catch weight, and Irene Aldana at 140 because Macy missed weight. Yeah, again because of her situation there. Yeah, he said even in featherweight she came in at 148. Yeah, she came in at 148 in that Rocky Pennington fight. And unfortunately, still lost that fight. I thought the fight would have made her a little bit stronger. I know she got caught up in a guillotine in that fight, but I thought it would have made her a little bit like more fluid and ready to go. But yeah, like, she still lost that one. You said they don't care. He's not trying to build a featherweight division. That's terrible. We have a lot of blown up bantamweights. Yeah, I think that if they just readjusted the bantamweight division to 145, or just said let's turn 135 into 145, the division would be a lot stronger and healthier, and you would see a lot more happier, healthier fighters if they just turn 135 into 145. I'm sure there would be some fighters that might not be okay with it, but the way a lot of these bantamweights look, I don't know. Like, I think they would be fine with it. Because how many like are really that small in the bantamweight division right now? I think in the top 5, Juliana Pena is like the smallest, right? Because Rocky made the weight and she looked fine at it. I mean, Rocky made featherweight and looked fine when she fought Chiasson. I think Juliana Pena would be like the smallest bantamweight. Because let's see, Rocky's made the weight, featherweight. Ketlin would be fine with featherweight. Norma would be great with featherweight. It's where she came from. Then Chiasson, Irene Aldana would probably be fine with it. Eileen Perez, I don't know. Eileen Perez is not that big. She's not like big. So I think she's like more like natural bantamweight. She could do it. Myra Buena Silva, she's like a bantamweight. Carol Rosa, she could be a featherweight. Santos could. Cavalcanti's a bantamweight. Cornell, I'd say bantamweight. Misha Tate's bantamweight. Edwards, she kind of thickens up to like a featherweight too, though. Daria Lesnikova, she's kind of tall and big, she's kind of slender. She doesn't seem to have trouble making. She could be a bantamweight, but there are some big girls in there now that you could say could be at featherweight. Yeah, Eileen Perez did fight it 145, but yeah, she did fight it flyweight. Yeah, so I think more of hers would just be like weight that she could shed off. Like she's not really like this naturally big girl like Macy Chiasson. Like Macy's like big. Macy's big, and so is like um, Norma. Norma. Them girls are just big. What's up, Mike Lee? Mike Lee said Pena would suffer at one. Yeah, Pena would suffer at 145. I think Pena would be better at flyweight than she would at featherweight. So Pena's a bantamweight. Even like if Holly was still around, I think Holly would be still dedicated to bantamweight. But yeah, there are like a handful of girls in there that could thrive if there was featherweight. But for the most part, I think it just really comes down to discipline, man. I thought we were going to see a little shade of Macy's old self, with her knees in the clinch. But man, like Yana reversed it on her in this fight. Yana reversed it big time. I mean, Yana started dropping elbows, throwing up uppercuts, shoving those knees into Macy Chiasson's body. She just had a really good body attack in this fight too. Like I didn't expect it to be like that. Like I thought Yana and Macy would have been holding more, but they were really like fighting. And I think again it was because Macy was mad. Not mad, Macy, but Yana was mad. I think Yana was really mad and she wanted to like teach Macy a lesson. Like she wanted to take it out on her. And good dirty boxing, man. Just really good dirty boxing from her, So I thought it was a good performance. But who do y'all think should be next for Yana Santos? I know BJ, you just got in here, but I think Yana should fight either Juliana Pena or Rocky next. If she's got the number 5 spot, I think Rocky or Pena would be a good fight for Santos next. Because Ketlin and Norma's already taken, so hey, go ahead and shoot for the stars, right? Because I mean, hey, you done won 3 in a row, cracked the top 5. And this division needs some life, in my opinion. Like, you don't really have to go through like a whole process like at flyweight. Flyweight, there's so many girls to fight. Unranked, mid-rank, low rank, wherever, top 5. You can put together a really big win streak. But here, with the way things are, you need this right. You need to start putting together a lineup of contenders. Start putting together a good lineup of contenders here. Like Norma, if she beats Ketlin, should be next. And let's say if Yana beats Rocky or Pena, that would put her after her. So that would line up at least 3 contenders. First, you got Amanda coming back for the fight. Then you would have like a Norma. Then if Yana would beat a Rocky or somebody like a Pena, she would be next. So yeah, they're trying to make bantamweight interesting. They're trying. I mean, there's some good fights here. I mean, this weekend you got Bia Mosquito coming right back to make her UFC debut. Because her fight in LFA didn't seem that long ago. But she's coming into the UFC to take on Irina Sleva. And Irina Sleva, I think she's kind of on her way out the door too. I think they're kind of feeding her to Bia. I think they're feeding her to Bia, man, because they want to build up another bantamweight. So you got some interesting matchups coming up here. Yeah, let me see. Irina Sleva just lost to Melissa Mullins, and she lost to that Claudia Sigula. If she loses now against Bia, I think she might be gone because her record in the UFC will be 1-4. So yeah, Yana would beat Rocky on activity alone. Yeah, I think so. I think at this point Yana might win that fight, and that's the good timing to get in. Now's a good time to get in there and beat some of these older heads. And with some of the things she's been doing as far as just staying active in the fight, if she doesn't resort to the old Yana, she could probably win that fight. Well, But yeah, I think the last thing I'll talk about again, man, is this Valentina Shevchenko and Zhang Weili fight, man. The more I just kind of been looking at it and looking at Valentina, still going hard in training, dedicated. You see Zhang Weili out here doing some road work. I'm getting hyped for the fight. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I know, like I said, there's not many like MMA outlets talking about it like that, but I'm really getting hyped for this one, man. I was one of the ones that didn't want to see Natalia Silva get her shot, but I really want to see like how Weili handles like Shevchenko's striking when it comes down to, well, I want to see how she handles Valentina's striking choices. That's what I want to see. Like, how is Zhang Weili going to make adjustments? Like, in the past, when I looked at some of her strawweight fights, against like Lemos and Yan, the Lemos fight, it was a little bit easier to get in on the inside because Lemos's activity is not, she doesn't really have high volume shots, right? But when you're dealing with somebody like Yan Xiaonan, who was able to knock her down a few times, that's the one that kind of puts me in question with how she's going to approach getting in behind that jab. Because, like, since Valentina's been putting that jab to use in her last few fights, I haven't really seen too many girls that know how to get by it. And I'm not saying like Weili's not like this smart fighter, but I've just seen her catch too many shots in the past to get on the inside, or being used to fighters that don't really have speed to catch up with her or just time her, even since like the Rose fight. Rose, I mean, she had the timing down, both pretty much in both fights. But since then, a lot of the strawweights she's been fighting, they're good, but they don't really have that timing or that stand-up game. But now, taking on Valentina again, taking on another high-level striker again, I keep questioning like how she's going to get on the inside, because to me, that's where she needs to be. I don't think she really clearly wins this mid-range striking match, right? Yeah, the promotion's been horrible for this fight, but we've been talking about it. Like I said, for me, even if other people haven't been talking about it on the bigger platforms, I'm still hyped for it. I got a couple round by rounds to do. Shoot, I got to do a round by round on this Aaron and Tracy Cortez fight, man. Like, everybody can tune into that one because it's on UFC's YouTube channel. So yeah, UFC, they just posted it I think a few weeks ago. Let me see, Aaron and Tracy Cortez. I think it's been up there for a few weeks. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's been up there for like 2 weeks now. I mean, it's always been like on Fight Pass, I believe, but yeah, they just posted it up to promote the fight. Mike Lee says Chev has superior fighter IQ. Yeah, she does. Like, I don't think Weili brings anything brand new to the table. Like, she could bring some things that could make her uncomfortable. But I think the newest thing that, and I won't even say it's like the newest thing that Valentina has seen in a while, it was just something she hasn't seen. Well, I won't say it's the newest thing, but I'll say it's something she just hasn't seen in a while, was like Grasso's striking style, like Grasso's boxing level. Like, Grasso, the way she was boxing in that first fight and the urgency that she was showing in the first round to really like get her rhythm into play, that kind of threw Valentina into a different zone for a little bit in the first couple rounds. It kind of made Valentina have to think a little bit more, and she was getting hit with some shots that she ain't been hit with. So I thought that was like the newest thing she's seen. But I think Weili might bring some intensity and some power. But as far as how it comes out or is delivered in the fight, I think that Valentina has the tools to slow her down and nullify whatever it is, and I think it all starts with that jab of hers. I think that jab and right hook is a big key to neutralizing anything, as long as she's able to keep Weili at bay, because if Valentina lets Weili in, that gives her more of a chance, to outmuscle or even like just explode on her and try to get a finish on her, and even land like some big shots on the inside, like some of them heavy right hands. Like if she gets Valentina in a compromised position, like on one knee, she could just start working and landing some hard shots. You never know how a fighter reacts to that. So you got to, stick to what Valentina's really got to stick to what she's been doing as of lately. Just picking her shots and, just using that tricky right hand that she's been throwing at a good angle too. Because like I said, like Manon couldn't handle it. She couldn't handle that right hook. She didn't know how to take it away or take away the jab. And when I look at that fight, and then I look at how Yan Xiaonan was able to handle Zhang Weili in some of those close quarters, and actually put her down like 3 or 4 times, even though she still lost the fight, but still, like Yan Xiaonan was like, putting some speed on her. She's putting some speed on Weili and catching her. It makes me think, how does she get by these things? How is she going to get by these things? But yeah, I got to go back and watch some fights, man, with like Weili and see like what she has to adjust in, like what has to be her plan of attack, just going back and looking at some of her recent fights. Because, Tatiana Suarez didn't really bring anything like that you could take into this fight and say, oh, this is what she needs to do, because, Suarez, she's not a striker like that. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to this fight, though, man. Like I said, I just think that they're doing a terrible job of promoting it. But hopefully when that night comes, people are going to tune in. All right. But on that note, y'all, I'm about to get up off here a little early tonight. I'm about to go throw down here, get some food. But if y'all missed the show, make sure y'all tune in a little bit later. And, because sometimes YouTube acting up whenever it posts the full live stream. But y'all can go back and listen to it later. But yeah, hit that like and subscribe on your way out. And I will try to get back on later this week. But if not, I might just have to start going back to doing every other Sunday again, man. Like with the way my schedule is, I might have to start doing every other Sunday for this show and every other Tuesday when I do the mashup show. So they won't be on the shows won't be on the same weeks. All right. So like if I do this show on Sunday, you won't hear the mashup until the next Tuesday. Right. So I might start doing that. We'll see. But let me see what we got coming up as far as WMMA fights this weekend. Okay, we got the Oliveira Fiziev card. So yeah, you got the Beatrice Mosquito fight versus Irina Sleva. Then you got Pelostri and Carolina. Oh man. Oh boy. I definitely got to go with Pelostri in that fight. That might be Carolina's retirement fight right there. It might be Carolina's retirement fight right there. I don't know. We'll see, man. Ooh, wow. But yeah, Dern and Jandaroba, dang, that fight's right around the corner too, man. Manon and Jasmine is in like 2 weeks. Shoot, I got to start tightening up. I got to catch up on these. I got to start putting the schedule up on these fights, man, because they are coming. Yeah, Carolina's Carolina, but yeah, I got Pelostri. Definitely got Pelostri in this one. But on that note, y'all, I am out. Y'all have a good week, and we'll see if I'll be on live later. Peace.